The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving
Jamie
you.
Lent, Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us this morning. If you're working today, then go out and make it a great day. If you're off for the week, then good for you. If you're kind of in between, then grind what you need to grind, and then be done with it. Question of the day: which basketball win was more important? You know, I thought about that last night, and even going into the game yesterday after the men won on Saturday night, and I think you look at these two games, like both were big for different reasons. I mean, for the men, just first of all, winning a game like that against the number 3 team in the country, and when you're down by 17 and you have a couple of guys foul out and you have guys come off the bench that have barely played. I mean, Nolan Gross, I think, had played a minute and a half or something, going into that. And then proving that you can play defense and you can be clutch, and that maybe you are the team that everybody thought you were going to be, right? And then for the women, first of all, just ending a 31-game losing streak. I don't care who you're playing. You end a 31-game losing streak, and you say to your fan base, "Hey, you know what? Maybe we are better than you think we are. Maybe this isn't kind of like the past." So I think it's like asking which one of your kids do you love the most, right? Sometimes you love them both for different reasons. Sometimes one you don't really care for at one particular time, and you love the other one because one didn't do a very good job with their homework or something, or they misbehaved, but you still love them.
Yeah, it just depends on how you want to look at the deal. I mean, we know in the hierarchy of what matters in an athletic department, it's the revenue generating sports. Okay, so in the pecking order goes football, men's basketball, and then everything else. Sure. Right? Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, we know that men's basketball is more important in that realm. So you can look at it that way. Okay. But if you want to look at the other way and say, well, what is this going to lead to from the men's basketball team? We don't know. Are you going to continue to be the team that you were the last 15 minutes of the game, or was that just an oasis, okay, in this season? I don't really know. But the women's game was a conference game. It was a conference game against one of the top teams in the conference.
15th ranked team.
Yeah, and although they were not playing at full strength, your win still counts just as much. Okay, so in that realm, the women's game means more because it was a conference game. So it just depends on which way you want to look at it.
Yeah. 6:35 this morning here on the Morning Drive. We get this as well. Great weekend. Texas Tech basketball wins. Duke and Baylor. The Ags and Sooners lose. Man, how about that? The home teams lose in the college football playoffs. Did one of the two losses surprise you more than the other? Just, on the surface of it, maybe what you thought? Or did both of them surprise you?
Both of them surprised me. I guess Oklahoma losing surprised me more.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Especially when they were at 17-0 at home.
Yeah, man. How do you kind of have to swallow that hard, don't you? Because
I don't.
Well,
I love it.
I don't mean you particularly.
Their linebacking core that claims to be way better than ours and take shots at ours. Can now sit back and enjoy us playing while they're not.
Right. But boy, the atmosphere Friday night and the atmosphere Saturday was awesome for the home playoff games. I didn't, because of what was going on with Tech and Duke and where that game was with Oregon and James Madison. I just kind of wrote that off as an exhibition game because that game was over. That game was over early, although James Madison did put some points up on the board in the second half in the fourth quarter, but I kind of view those as garbage time points more than anything else.
Yeah, I wouldn't take too much away from how many points they scored in the contest.
Yeah. Did anything that transpired with the college football playoff games give you reason to think that any one of those teams that won on Saturday or on Friday night would be a contender to be in the national championship game?
I didn't watch a lot of the second two games, to be honest with you. I don't think I watched any of the Ole Miss game. The Oregon, I think Oregon's a really good team. I really do. I think they're a much better defensive unit than they showed in that contest. I just think that, when you get out to a massive lead like that, I think the intensity just slides away a little bit. And I know their head coach was not mad, and that's, not surprising at all that he was frustrated with the way his team closed out that game. But, yeah, I think Oregon or Ole Miss are both talented enough. Now, Ole Miss had some injuries in the game, so we'll see how they affect their team moving forward, whether they were serious injuries or they'll be back.
And I guess this would be, we'll kind of make this determination on January 1st or 2nd or even the 3rd or the 5th. But it'll be interesting to see how the teams that played this past weekend, how that helped them be prepared for, the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day games, just from the standpoint that they were able to shake the rust off a little bit and get out there and get the playoff nerves out of the way. Or is that even a factor?
Yeah, it might be a factor early on, but you would think that they would kick off the rust and the nerves, pretty quickly. But you hope you're not, down 14-0 or whatever when you kick it off.
When you look up,
yeah.
So now the bracket's set. You've got Texas Tech, the 4th seed, taking on Oregon, the 5 seed in the Orange Bowl. That'll be on New Year's Day. Of course, we'll have extensive coverage for you. That's an 11 a.m. kick. Also on New Year's Day, it's Indiana and Alabama, the 1 and the 9 seed. The 3 seed Georgia and Ole Miss play on New Year's Day as well in the Sugar Bowl. And then the Cotton Bowl will feature Ohio State and Miami. I think that's the surprise right there, right? Is the 10 seed Miami getting through and beating the Aggies and marching on to Dallas.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Morning Drive, time for this day in sports history. Today is Monday, December 22nd, 2025. With this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
Going to start in 1943. Manufacturers get permission to use a synthetic rubber for a baseball court.
A baseball court?
The core of a baseball.
Oh, the core of a baseball. Okay, core of baseball. Okay. As opposed to a cork, right?
Well, it was actual rubber at that point. They'd already got moved past the cork. But 1943, there was that whole thing over in Europe we were dealing with.
Oh, yeah.
So rubber got, used over there.
Sure.
And they got permission to use synthetic rubber for the ball. 1969, Pete Maravich sets an NCAA record by hitting 30 of 31 foul shots.
He probably put a lot of shots up in his garage, didn't he?
I would think so, yeah.
And everybody else's.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to 1996, St. Louis Blues right wing Brett Hull scores his 26th NHL career hat trick to reach 500 career goals in a 7-4 win over the LA Kings. With his father, Bobby Hull, they are the first father-son combo to each record 500 goals.
I think that is a overlooked or underlooked or not highly thought of father-son combo. Overlooked father-son combo.
You think a lot more of it in baseball than you do in pretty much any other sport.
Yeah.
It's probably because the sport's just not as mainstream.
Yeah.
2003, the New York Knicks hire Isaiah Thomas as president of basketball operations.
They're still recovering.
Great move.
2015, Zach Smith turned in his first career double-double with 12 points and 12 rebounds as Texas Tech men's basketball team grinded out a 65-53 win over previously undefeated Little Rock en route to its 8th consecutive victory. Suck it, Chris Beard.
I think he was the coach of Little Rock for that game.
Suck it, Chris Beard.
I think that's why Jeff said that.
Okay, well, I didn't know. I was trying to... There's so many reasons why he can say that, so I was just... But.
Fair enough.
2020. Terrence Shannon Jr. scored a season-high 21 points. Marcus Santos Silva added 18 and 7 rebounds. And Mac McClung scored Texas Tech's final 6 points as the number 15 ranked Red Raiders survived with a 69-67 win over Oklahoma. It is National Date Nut Bread Day.
How do you feel about the date nut?
I like date night better.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a huge dates guy.
I didn't figure you were.
I do not know how I missed this on Friday. So let me apologize to Tim Tadlock, Anthony Lynn, and Baron Batch. Specifically those 3 guys.
Did we miss their birthdays?
All 3 of them had birthdays yesterday.
Wow.
The head baseball coach and Anthony Lynn turned 57, and Baron Batch turned 38. I don't know how I missed that. I should be fired.
No, we'll let you keep your gig.
Damn it. Happy birthday today. Ted Cruz is 55. Diane Sawyer is 80. Steve Carlton, 81. And Steve Garvey is 77. And on this day in 2001, I'm going to say that again to make sure you heard me. 2001, 3 months after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, Richard Reed, a British citizen and Al-Qaeda member, attempts to detonate his homemade bombs hidden in the shoes while aboard an American Airlines Flight 63 headed to Miami from Paris. During the flight that included 197 passengers and crew members, Reed, who had come to be known as the Shoe Bomber, used matches in an attempt to light his black high tops on fire while he was in his window seat. Smelling sulfur, flight attendants saw what he was trying to do, and fellow crew members and passengers were able to restrain him. He was sedated and strapped down with belts as the plane was diverted to Boston's Logan International Airport, where he was taken into custody. And that's why we all have to take our shoes off now.
Right.
Jackwagon. And that is this day in sports history.
This day in sports history, 6:50 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Visual Edge IT hotline at 2 is open as well. Communicated this morning early from the great Gordo, Jamie. Dear Chuck, how are you? I am fine. I thought all 3 games were pretty spare. There's something about that sentence that just never heard it quite phrased like that, but I love it. I love that sentence. I thought all 3 games were pretty spare. He's referring to the football. I didn't watch any of Ole Miss or Oregon and watched the state games at Jerry World, just so you know.
I couldn't help. Go ahead and finish his comment.
Thank you for the basketball talk that you give us. P.S. Please ask one Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire why so many Oregon starters are in the portal and will not play any more games this year. I'm not aware of.
I hadn't heard that either.
But
there were starters that are in the portal?
I'm just reading. Yeah, I don't know.
That would be really surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you there, Gordo. But I couldn't help this weekend by, watching, let's say, Oklahoma and Alabama, which is a game that ultimately turned out to be a normal scoring and you can even say higher scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
But early on in that game where Alabama just couldn't move the ball and they were just getting blown away at the line of scrimmage. And then watching, Georgia and Bama play in the SEC championship game, and then watching Alabama watching Texas A&M and Miami, which was another barn burner of a 0-0 score at halftime. And I couldn't help but wonder, are these teams dominating our offense too? I mean, are we scoring only 3 or 7 points in a half? I mean, would our offense be this bogged down like Alabama looked at the beginning of the game, like Miami and A&M looked for the whole game?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, would we? I couldn't help but wonder. I don't have an answer to it, but it just like, okay, we were really good this year, and we held teams to a lot of. I mean, we forced a lot of 3-and-outs, and we dominated the line of scrimmage a bunch, and we looked like the dominant team. And but you never. Maybe it's because we're homers a little bit, but you never looked at our offense and said, man, they're just getting dominated right now. We looked at our offense and be like, man, you can't get out of your own way sometimes. Pre-snap penalties or whatever. We kind of blamed it on our offense when they were struggling and not per se giving credit to the defense as much. And so, and I think we were somewhat fair with that because it felt like when you were being slowed down, you were doing so much of the damage yourself. I just am anxious to see how our offense is going to match up against these really good defenses.
Yeah, and I think that's the concern too of, especially when you get into the red zone, it's like, okay, can you get sixes instead of threes? Which that's where there's been some problems. This year is just finishing off drives. And then, how many points is it going to take to beat Oregon? Is it 21? Is it 24? Is it 28? My gut would probably tell me at least 28. But then I have a hard time seeing your defense giving up 29 just because of how good they've been this year and how stingy they've been. So the fact that your defense has just been top drawer is going to help you a ton because you may only need 17 points to win.
Yeah, I would guess
make you nervous, right?
I would guess that's a bigger number than 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
But less than 28 maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 6:54 this morning here on the Morning Drive. By the way, just in a quick search, I'm not seeing any big dramatic losses for Oregon. So, I mean, they're going to have people that are going to leave that just like you're going to have people that are going to leave. So, I don't know. I don't see any big like flight there for the Ducks, going off and trying to find their feathers at some other place. So.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
And take a shot at who this artist is. Is that Snoop Dogg?
One of them, yeah.
One of them? Okay. How about that, Jamie?
This isn't.
No, I know this isn't. I know, but that's pretty good.
You want to take a shot at who this is?
Was this Madonna?
Not Madonna.
Okay.
Jamie?
I'm sorry, I was listening to Chuck.
The female artist. Anna Kendrick.
Okay, yeah.
Who?
Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with her. Probably.
Snoop Dogg is pretty. I mean, he's pretty mainstream.
No, I know, but I mean, I'm not. I've told you guys.
Pretty distinct as well.
Yes.
I know, but I mean, I've told you guys repeatedly that I'm not a really, for a guy that's worked at a radio station 42 years, I'm terrible at name, artist, and title, and recognizing voices is not necessarily one of my.
The song was called Winter Wonderland.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
I got that. I'm just usually not very good at, who's singing them, or who the artist is, regardless of the. Or
the second line of the song.
There's that too, There's that too. I'm always grateful when, there's the words are printed out for me, when I'm singing, right? This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Listen to Duke's post-game press conference. Duke's head coach kept saying Tech was so small and drew their bigs out where Tech outquicked them. At first I thought he was insulting us, but I think it was actually a compliment.
I mean, you're allowed to make adjustments. You don't have to play a typical, style of play. Work with what you've got, and I think that's all of what Coach McCaslin did in this game. Yeah, partly because he was forced to, because of the fouls and guys fouling out of games or fouling out of the game, and because of the personnel you had left to play.
Yeah. It was amazing that Toppin didn't foul out of the game. I mean, he did a really good job of, minding his P's and Q's after he got his fourth foul.
Yep.
That was big as well. Just the fact that
it's where you really need Van Boye back in there, so JT is not having to defend the five.
Yeah. And so hopefully he'll be back soon. Hopefully he'll be able to get some minutes against Winthrop, but I just don't know the nature of that knee injury. I'm not sure that anybody really does outside the program. I mean, unless you're friends with him and you see him hobbling around and say, "Hey, Luke, how's the knee?" "Oh man, kind of dinged up a little bit here. Hard for me to run." So just don't really know the full nature of it. Going to the NFL from over the weekend, Eagles defeat the Washington Commanders on Saturday, 29-18. That eliminated the Cowboys from the playoffs, but more importantly for the Eagles, it wrapped up the division for them, and they win the division back-to-back years. And the thing about that is that's the first time anybody's won the NFC East in back-to-back years in 21 years. That is crazy, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah, no doubt.
And then the Cowboys went out and lost to the Chargers yesterday, 34-17. Cowboys moved their record to 6-8-1 on the season. My question for you and my thought this morning is, should you just go ahead and just sit Dak Prescott now so that you don't come up with any injuries that is going to affect the start of next year, even though there's a couple games left?
I probably would play him this next game and then not in the last one.
Not in the last one? Okay.
No.
Do you have let me ask you this. Do you think, because I think I have desired, but do you think the Cowboys will make a big effort to sign and keep George Pickens?
I guess it just depends on how much he's demanding financially. I mean, you have the highest paid player in the league. You have the highest paid wide receiver in the league already, right? I mean, if he's going to want to be a top 4 or 5 wide receiver, is that the best way to spend your money?
Well, he caught 7 balls yesterday, 130 yards, had a touchdown. Feel like that he's been a real compliment, if not almost equal to C.D. Lamb. The part of the challenge for him is the
you got this contract with C.D. Lamb thing.
I know.
Okay? So you can't just go, we'll take Pickens instead.
Right. No, I understand that. And then the other thing too is he going to, behave himself, to a degree, keep himself, from getting all those stupid penalties. It's not the off the field stuff; it's the on the field stuff. Sometimes you just go, kind of scratch your head at it a little bit and go, okay, are you going to have the effort, and then are you going to compete, and are you going to stop with the stupid penalties?
You haven't really answered my question.
I know. It's C.D. Lamb. You're paying him a lot of money.
Is making George Pickens, who would probably is going to demand top 5
money.
Wide receiver money. Is that the best way to have 2 in the top 5? Is that the best way to spend your money?
I see what you're saying there. Probably not. So you're probably not going to have him because...
if I'm a Cowboy fan, I would much rather you add a superstar defensive player to this roster.
Or a couple.
Yeah.
Like 5.
Do you think you're going to be looking for a defensive coordinator too?
Yes.
Yeah.
But surprisingly enough, not upset with the head coach. I kind of feel like I owe Schottenheimer an apology because I thought it was going to be just a joke this year. That it was going to, oh, look, we have a coach. Great. That's how I was walking into the season. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that you've outcoached everybody you've played this year, but I also don't think you were outcoached in every game this year either. I'm pleasantly surprised with what we've seen from the head man, and it kind of feels like the team's kind of buying in and support and following what their leader's trying to do there. So, are they a good football team? They are not. But are they showing signs of a good football team internally? Kind of think they are.
I think they're a really good offense. Although they were kind of slowed down yesterday.
Yeah.
How much of that was because of the Eagles game the day before, though? That's kind of what
probably
it really kind of felt like about halfway through that game, the Cowboys were like, what are we playing for?
Yeah, they're just playing out the string, right? This year, I don't think the Cowboys' offense was the problem. They should probably use that money and get some defensive guys. Okay.
Preach. I think you are dead on.
Let's see.
Think the Cowboys get high enough in the draft to get Jacob Rodriguez?
I don't think he's going to be a first rounder, so
I don't know, man.
Probably could get him in the second or third, maybe. I think somebody recently told me third round is where he's projected.
Dak is getting $60 million. Play that, man. Okay. Just from the playoff standings at this point in time right now, there's still an awful lot up there for grabs when you kind of look at things. The Broncos and the Patriots have now clinched spots in the AFC. Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Chargers, Bills, Texans still very much in the hunt, along with Indiana or Indianapolis, I should say, and Baltimore. And then in the NFC, just the Eagles have clinched the division. In fact, for both leagues, just the conferences, the Eagles have clinched the division.
First time back-to-back NFC East champions in 20 years.
Yeah, we talked about that. 21 years, yeah.
Chuck, by the way, you may be getting your wish. Your big wish.
What, you think that's rich for me to say that to Jeff?
No, I'm just kind of laughing at us, how little we listen to each other.
Oh, sometimes, yeah.
You may be getting your wish.
Which is?
The NFL may no longer want to play on Christmas Day.
Good.
Look at the lineup this year.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's awful.
Boy, this looked like a really good Christmas Day lineup.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Commanders. Who are the Chiefs playing? Denver.
Yeah.
What's the third game? Can't remember what the third game is on Christmas Day.
Lions and the Vikings.
Yeah, Lions hanging. Yeah, I'm just saying. They may look at that and go, let's never do this again.
Well, I mean, Netflix and Prime are going to have of course, they've already probably made their money, but, I mean, yeah, it's not looking good, is it?
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay, I think this one is a difficult one to answer.
Oh, boy.
Part of your answer might be based on which you just enjoy more, or which means more to you.
Okay.
I don't really know what everybody's opinion is, but that's kind of up to you. My question is, the 2 basketball victories this weekend, which one is truly more indicative of who our team is and will be going forward?
Okay, well, I'll just say this. Based on what I have observed for the first 14 games of the season, I think what we saw in Waco yesterday is pretty indicative of the basketball team that we've been seeing this year. Playing really good defense, making some clutch plays when you need to, getting some big free throws, and then frankly, the offense over the last, especially the 3-point shooting, has not been great, and even the shooting has not been just outstanding. So I think that's somewhat indicative of what we've seen this year. So it gives me hope that you can, after winning over Baylor yesterday, 61-60, that the ladies can get to 9-10 wins and put themselves into an NCAA tournament berth. I think you won one yesterday that people did not expect you to win. Okay, so I think the performance I saw yesterday was more indicative of what I've seen this year for the women versus what I saw in the men's game on Saturday night.
I think I disagree with you a little bit in the regard to, I think you're a good offensive team. You just didn't shoot well.
No,
yesterday.
I mean, there's just been some times when you've had open looks and have not been able to make shots here in the last, 5-6 games.
Yeah, it's basketball. You don't make them all.
I know.
Yeah.
And I know that you've been scoring 4 points a ball game and holding them to 50 some odd points a ball game, but just
there's an element of that. If you had asked this question, is which one was the bigger win for the two? I think I would agree with Chuck that it would be the Lady Raiders. No question that was huge for what Krista Gerlich's squad could do. That's the type of win that you can start to say, see, we have turned the aircraft carrier group around, and we are going in the right direction after that type of win. You've beaten the number 3 team in the country before. You've beaten the number 1 team in the country before on the men's side. I think the men's side was more indicative of what you will expect to see from the men's basketball team the rest of the way. Getting a little more defensive focused, as opposed to the women, who I think got a great win and are showing signs of life for the first time in forever. I don't think they're going to be the 15th ranked team in the country, and that's basically what they did on this weekend.
You don't think they're going to be?
I don't think they're going to be the 15th ranked team at the end of the year, no.
Yeah, no, I think
the men
there's
could be moving back up into the top 10.
Okay. That's interesting. I like both of your takes.
Both of whose takes? Jeff's takes or both of our takes?
Both of
I only
you guys.
had one.
Okay, well, just
Don't worry, I'm giving you credit too.
well, I mean, I was just trying to see if I was on the same page as you at all.
My answer is the women's team. Okay. I don't. Baylor was preseason number 3 in the Big 12. Okay. Baylor may be the number 15 team in the country, but they're not without their superstar. Just like, she's basically JT Toppin and what she scores a game. Take JT Toppin away from us for 3 or 4 games, and do you think we'll be at our best or anywhere close to it? No, we won't. Okay, she's their JT Toppin. Maybe the comparison is more to Christian Anderson because she's more of a guard that makes others get involved too, and that's what she did at the end of that game yesterday when she played for her 2.5 minutes. So
she's their leading scorer.
Yeah.
She leads them in threes made. She leads them in free throws made. she's
their go-to player.
Yeah.
She's their JT Toppin or Christian Anderson,
no doubt.
Whatever you want to say.
No doubt.
Okay, and would that probably have made a difference in the outcome of the game? Probably so. But again, like I said before, you caught a break. You're allowed to do that. Mm-hmm. There's been plenty of times before where you've had big games or games that you could have won except somebody got hurt or somebody wasn't playing. So you don't have to apologize for that. It's a win is a win. When the committee looks at the end of the season, they're going to see a top 15 win on the road. Yeah. They're not, it's not going to have an asterisk next to it. It is absolutely not. So the question I have that I'm asking in my mind, do I think you're a top 3 team in the Big 12 in the women's side? Do I think you are a top 3 team in the nation on the men's side? I do not think you are a top 3 team in the nation on the men's side. I also don't think you're a top 3 team in the Big 12 on the women's side.
You got more work to do to prove that.
I think you're a lot closer to 7 and 8 ish. Mm-hmm. Okay, that'd be my guess. Just looking at other scores, I haven't watched a lot of women's Big 12 games, but as I said before, in years past. In my years, like the last 15 years, Baylor could have been missing their top 4 players and still beat the Lady Raiders handily, okay? They were missing one girl. Yes, she was important. One girl. You didn't look like you were out-athleted for the first time in a long, long time. You had the same similar kind of athletes than them. I really feel like the Lady Raiders need to find a way to keep Jada Malone on the floor more. She just makes them so much better offensively when she's on the court. She's efficient. She scores in the post. She makes them respect the post, opens things up on the outside. Mm-hmm. But, so they've got to find a way to keep her on the court more. It's just a different team offensively when she is out there. But I think both were big wins. I think you're going to see both. I think you're going to see the men play a lot better than we saw them for the last 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think they're getting to number 3 in the country. Okay. I think the Lady Raiders can play with most teams in the Big 12 conference. That's why I feel like it wouldn't shock me at all to see the Lady Raiders at like 6 in this conference at the end of the year. Okay. If you're 6, you're probably winning 10, 11 ball games. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, in some regards, you could say both are indicative of who you are. In some ways, you could say both aren't, indicative of who you are. I don't think you're the top 3 team in the Big 12 on the women's side. I don't think you're number 3 team in the country on the men's side. Yeah. But on those 2 days, you played great basketball. You found a way to win, and it was a lot of fun.
And I'll just say this about Baylor. by them not having Talia Scott, they still had Van Geitenbeek, and they still had Fauntleroy, and they still had Little Paige Buggs. They still had plenty of players out there to combat
I think you can call an exterminator to fix that.
Little Paige Buggs or Van Geitenbeek. But all 3 of those players had been there for 4 years on that Baylor team. They have been there.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It's going to be 80 degrees today. Goodness. Goodness. Hey, good morning. With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. You look disappointed. Are you disappointed in me for bringing up that it's going to be 80 degrees today?
No.
Oh, okay. You just look disappointed.
I'm not.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
Not that you know.
Should I be? Have you done something?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Not at all. Would you rather it be a little chillier, or do you like the 80 degree weather?
Give me 80.
Give you 80. Okay. Give you 80. 8:02 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line, Visual Edge IT hotline. That number is 806-771-0973. We'll have the famous Idaho Potato Bowl on today. I don't know what makes it famous. They just have called it that forever and a day.
It's the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
Okay.
The potato is the famous.
Yeah, but I mean, did they just label it famous, or is it famous? I mean, is it like some kind of spectacular potato?
We've been talking about it every year for the last 20 years.
No
Famous.
doubt. I know. But we say that, famous Idaho Potato Bowl. You know, they'll have Washington State and Utah State. I just don't know what makes it famous if we just labeled it famous.
I think you're missing Jeff's point.
Probably.
The potatoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are the famous.
They labeled themselves as the famous Idaho potatoes.
Okay.
Long time ago. Okay.
And that's my question. Are they spectacular potatoes, or are they just there's just some clever person that came up with that in Idaho that said, hey, our potatoes are famous.
I don't know if a larger majority of potatoes come from there than any other state. I don't know, but that's where the famous Idaho Potato Bowl comes from.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the bowl that's
Okay.
famous.
Okay.
It's the potatoes.
Yes, I knew that. Yeah, right.
And the potatoes sponsor the bowl.
Yes, I got that.
Okay.
I understand all that. My question is,
Figure
what
I'd talk
makes
slowly.
The sponsor said we're calling it this, so they did.
Sometimes that helps, and sometimes that doesn't, Jamie. They are famous like Arkansas Buckeyes. I don't know that. Are there Buckeyes in Arkansas? Oh, that's a joke, isn't it? That's a joke at me. Okay, got it. Something I learned yesterday.
What are Buckeyes again? They're little somethings that hang in trees or something.
That's in Ohio, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's why Ohio State
I know
goes
this
by
person
the
said
Buckeyes.
Arkansas, but I think they're taking a little swipe at me because everything's related to Arkansas. It's something I learned yesterday, courtesy of Mark Finkner. I mean, he's full of knowledge, right? Full of knowledge. But I did not know this, and maybe you did. 65% of all Snickers made are made in Waco. Did you know that?
I know they have a huge plant down there. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. 65% of all Snickers are made in Waco.
Our good friend Andy Penny used to work there when he was growing up.
At the Snicker plant?
Yeah.
Well, what did
I
he
think
do?
they make more than Snickers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably make some Mounds and Three Musketeers and all that.
That was like his growing up as a kid job.
Okay,
when you were at Kmart, he was at Snickers
doing the blue lights. He's over and burning trash. He's over there making candy bars.
Yeah.
That's
pretty cool gig.
I'd say that's a really, really cool gig. I wanted to get to Chuck. It's because they have grown potatoes in Idaho forever. That's why Idaho is famous for potatoes. Thus, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
I mean, not for nothing. When I think of a rustic potato, I think of the Idaho potato. That makes it pretty famous.
Now, like the place in town that's real big on their fries that our friend Kyler works for. Okay, burger joint, but there's real big on their fries and their peanuts, right?
There's more than 4 of them.
Okay, don't they? I think they claim in there that they're all famous Idaho potatoes.
I think they do, yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of places that use that rustic potato for their fries.
Here's a person that has lots of knowledge. The soil in Idaho produces potatoes with low sugar, so they make great fries.
Okay. There you go. That's why that's why the guys call it that.
Yeah. Lance offering more knowledge here this morning. Hey, Chuck, I used to be a sales rep for the Hershey Company, and let me just correct real quickly. Mounds is not a Mars product as a Hershey product and is Almond Joy. You're welcome. See y'all later. Thank you. Thank you, Lance. Appreciate that very much. Wow. And soon, I mean, our audience is full of knowledge. So let me ask you this. What do you think is going to happen with regard to the college football playoff next year? Do you think?
I don't have any idea in the world how it cannot move to 16.
Okay.
I mean, just that feels like the biggest gimme of all.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to 16. Okay, we'll keep your non-Power 4 team guaranteed in there. Hopefully the ACC actually does a better job and grabs that other spot. So it's just one non-Power 4. Okay, that's getting in with a guaranteed spot. But I don't know that they'll make the jump this quick. It just... But
why not?
I mean, with getting rid of the non-Power 4 in a 12 or 16 team format, I don't know. I mean, the rest of you guys, I mean, I don't want to just speak for myself, but like I was so excited for Oklahoma and Alabama.
I was too.
To the point where I was angry with Alabama when it was 17-0. I've waited this long for a good game, and you guys are, laying an egg here. Now, ultimately, they made it an awesome game.
Mm-hmm.
So way to go, Bama. And same way I felt for A&M and Miami.
Yeah.
Same exact way, okay? When that game ended, TV went off. TV went off until Tech basketball came back on.
Okay. I
mean, I had no interest in those other two games.
What did you do? I'm just curious. What did you do? Did you go play tennis? Did you rake the yard?
I did and went and rebounded for the kid.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, because I had no interest in those two games.
Gotcha.
And yes, I wanted to know if Oregon was going to win or whatever, but of course we knew they were going to.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta do better. They got to do better, and everybody should get. I mean, the top 8 should get to host a home game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes more money for the networks, more money for the schools. I'm sure it'll end up being more money for the players. I mean, there's no lose in it.
Then it was exciting. It was awesome to watch, the atmosphere and everything, the pageantry, everything that is college football. It was.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.